Hello, everyone. By now, all of you should have received the results of your strong interest inventory. So please refer to your own results, have them ready, and refer to them as we go through this sample result profile together. So in this video, I'll just walk you through the sample results page by page, so that then you can look through your own results and understand your own report. So the first page just includes the title of this inventory, and it should have your name. On the second page, it focuses on how a strong interest inventory could be beneficial to you in the shaded area on the left. And here it just explains how these results are organized, and we'll go through each of the sections one by one as we are looking at these results. One thing I want to emphasize that strong interest inventory is measuring your interests and interests only, not skills, not abilities. And so that is important point to remember as you're looking through your results. So page 3 is actually where your actual results will begin. And obviously your results will look different than the ones that I'm displaying here. The key element here on this page is this is your Holland's theme code, which will be right here. So this will be your theme code, and it could be 3 letters, it could be 2 letters, sometimes it could even be just 1 letter, the highest theme. In this case, it's 2 letters, it's investigative and realistic. Here comes a description of each of the themes with categories such as interests, work activities, potential skills, and values. And these categories right here should be familiar to you because those are some of the aspects that you used in self-reporting a theme for yourself. So those should sound and look familiar from the work that you've been doing up to now in this module and in the course. Your Holland's code is set in order from the highest to the lowest. So everyone is going to have actually different levels based on how you answer the question. As you can see here, lower on the page, there are these bar graphs, and this is a really good visual representation of your Holland's code. There are also word descriptors that are within the bar graph, and those descriptors might range from very high to moderate, which there isn't any on this particular report, to little and very little. And someone definitely with a very high interest in that area will likely report a high level of interest in that category. And on the other hand, someone with a low level interest or very low level interest will be much less interested in that category. On this particular report, you can see there is one very high category, investigative, and one high category in realistic. I want to bring to your attention to this standardized score on the right. And again, this is not a percentage, this is just your standardized score. And the standardized score is based on the average score of working adults, both males and females. However, research shows that men and women actually tend to respond differently in certain categories, and example of it will be more men have a higher score in realistic area than women. So grouping genders together is not helpful for this purposes. So the word descriptors here are actually within the graph are actually only comparing your results to the results of those in the same gender. That is why some of you may have maybe standardized score in one category that's interpreted as a high, and in another category interpreted as a moderate or another descriptor. Once again, the score is looking and comparing you to everyone, and the descriptors are comparing you to your own gender only. So again, your score, your theme code will likely be either 3, 2, or even 1 letter, depending on your answers. Here, I would encourage you maybe to pause the video and compare your score on this inventory to the self-selected theme code that you came up with in the module, and see how they compare to each other. Many of you accurately estimated the results, but in some cases your letters might be in a different order. So I would encourage you to compare this too. Moving on to page 4, which contains your basic interest scales. And this scales look at work activities, projects, coursework, and even leisure activities that you might find motivating, rewarding, as compared to others who already are in this career areas. As you scroll down, you will see that each of the 6 general themes included here on your report, and more specific categories within each theme are introduced. So, for example, under social, let's say, you can see there's a healthcare sciences, counseling and helping, social sciences, teaching and education, religion and spirituality, human resources and training. And once again, you can see that each of the subcategories also contain their own word descriptors, abbreviated as very high, high, moderate, or low, or very low. So once again, the standard score here compares you to everyone. The scores on the right compare you to everyone. And the descriptors within the categories, within the bars, are comparing you to only those of your own gender. In the summary up here, area above, data shows your top 5 interest areas. In this case, it's science, medical science, healthcare services, protective services, mechanics, and construction, as well as areas of your least interest, which is also useful to know. As we move to the next page, page 5 shows your top 10 occupational skills, and will give you your 10 occupations that most closely aligned with your interests, as well as 5 that are most dissimilar from your interests. The really interesting point about this page that each of this 10 occupations is actually a link, which will connect you to a very, very useful website, which I would encourage you to become very familiar and refer to often. It's ONET. It's a database which each of this categories, each of this occupations is linked to, and you will be able to learn about each of those careers, information such as typical job duties, pay, educational requirements. And so I would definitely encourage you to look at those categories, click on them, and further explore each of each of the occupations listed here. Another fun thing about this is that you may know a general area that you're interested in, but maybe not, have never heard of some of the careers or occupations that are listed here. And this will be a great way to explore some occupations that you may not have considered simply because you didn't really know that they exist. So once again, ONET is a website that I would strongly encourage you to refer to often as you go through your career exploration process. Page 6 will include your occupational skills and will show how similar your interests are with people of the same gender who are already working in those occupations and are reporting that they're satisfied being in those career fields. So at the top of the page tells you that the results of 40 and above will indicate that you share interest with, in this case, with men in that occupation. As it happens, the individual whose results I'm sharing with you is a male. And then the mid-range between 30 and 39, and then the similarity will be anything 29 and below. So moving to page, and it happens for each of the themes. So moving to page 9, which will go over your personal style scales, and describe different ways in which you prefer to approach people, learning, leading, and even risk taking. So as you can see, that there is a continuum here with 2 ends, and this little diamond symbol is indicating your preference in that area. And you can read the descriptors on both sides and see where you fall in each of those areas. Page 10 is a very good summary of everything in the report so far, with your highest themes, with your top 5 interest areas and your dissimilar interest areas, and your top 10 strong occupations, and your personal scale styles. I really want to make sure that we get to this couple next pages, because this is where it tells you how you can use the results of this